Hello my friends and welcome back, it's episode 143.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Oh, there's a dude here. He had some goods. I'm guessing there's nothing left to do here. We got what we came for.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
The only way I could see all of those Inquisitors losing to that tiny force of Necrons is if they tried to shoot the front of those destroyers all day long. I mean, there must have been like 40 blokes in that pile of bodies. And it's not like they aren't tough units either. Lord Captain, unidentified sickle-shaped ships have taken off from the planet we just left. They're approaching swiftly and readying their weapons for battle. Get ready. It's about to get hot in here.
All stations, report when manned and ready.
I didn't realise that Necron ships looked like Romulan. Oink. Reanimation protocol. How dare you reanimate yourself? The left side. Okay, side shields are holding. As long as they can't turn that well, I've got them right where I want them. Although my ally is in a very weak position there. You will undoubtedly be punished for it. Boom! Still with us, I see. Where's my shield status? Still pretty good. Expeditious reload, go! Okay, that'll do. Did he just miss? Wow, is he about to get a kill? Probably too much to ask for, right? Look at that, that was a side hit. For some reason. More range, please. Thank you. Swing run. This is going to be the best way. Plus I still have my rear shield reinforcement. Wow, the sword class frigate is actually going to survive a battle. For once. Or is he?
We broke their shield, Lord Captain.
Oh. Or is he? Did I speak too soon?
Got them.
Got him. Lord Captain, what were those things? Took off from the surface of the world where you landed. I've never seen ships like that, never seen such technologies either. We fished a trophy out of the void, a relatively intact fragment of the wreck, and sent it to our engineers. Just in case we've isolated the compartment where they're performing their comprehension liturgies. Your Lordship, Arto Artifacts claims to found a mention of Xenos similar to the ones we've encountered. The manuscript refers to them as Necrons. Nothing but tales of rumors. I've heard stories about sickle ships that reap entire squadrons like ears of grain, about crews that know no fear, and the veil of death that shrouds them and corrodes their enemy ships like rust. Those stories aren't worth a grok's arse, though. Because they also say that none have ever survived encountering those sickle ships. If that were true, there wouldn't be anyone around to tell those stories, would there? Data available. Those creatures are Nephilimex, the Omnissire's fallen angels. Citing a quotation, the first machine spirits ever created by the Omnissire were in will, in body, and in power. Unmatched in their perfection, they were realizing the design of the Deus Mechanicus into being. But the principle of entropy conceived by the Omnissire was fundamental, thus even the perfect became flawed through the overabundance of their perfection. So vast were the Necrophilimech's abilities and so immeasurable, I have never heard them referred to as this before. Abilities and so immeasurable the depths of their minds that pride tempted them. The Nephilimechs rejected the design of the Deus Mechanicus in favor of their own. The order of existence was defiled and a great war of absolute destruction came. The Necrons, I'm just going to say Necrons from now on because it's the stupidest word I've ever seen in my life, were overthrown and exterminated, only a few managing to hide from the Omnissire's eye by extinguishing their minds and shrouding themselves in oblivion. In their charge, the Omnissiah created new machine spirits and destined them to servitude, so that they would remember the limits of their power and would not descend into pride. As for the ultimate perfection, the Deus Mechanicus abolished it from the universe, and thus it was no more. What was this trophy? The ancients are at a loss. It is a gift born from the Omnissiah's wisdom, but the image was imperfect, and therefore it was eroded by corruption and unbelief, whatever that means. The ship's minor conclave has gone into data meditation to produce a resolution regarding the admissibility of using this item. Bolster the cruiser morale. You got additional rations to those who showed valor in battle. This is just the beginning. As you will, Lord Captain. Okay, now what? Here we are in the unbeholden reaches. Ping. Ping. Alright, let's start with this one. That night, Lord Captain and his crew were awakened by beautiful music. Okay, it's just a normal warp event that we've seen a million times before. $50 XP, but nothing else. Emerald fires. Most of the surface is covered in icy dunes with greenish highlights. At first, officers aboard the vessel decide that the unusual color of the ice is due to the quirk of the atmosphere. Later, it becomes evident that the source of the highlights is a group of monstrous pyramidal structures wreathed in emerald fire. Examine them in detail with magnoculars. Oh my god. It can be seen that one of the monoliths is damaged. A device on its wall emits an energy beam at a similar pyramid not far from itself. One Valancia's scouts approach the monoliths with as much care as possible, fearing the appearance of an enemy. A small servitor sent to gather data about the energy beam clearly demonstrated the destructive power of this xenotechnology. After carelessly making contact with the beam, it instantaneously broke apart into minuscule pieces. It is curious that the second pyramid is still intact and that the only matter at the source of the beam is being destroyed. The energy beam barely reflects off the dark metal of the pyramid. Occasionally a scarcely visible wave runs across the surface of the monolith's walls, after which material appears to become even smoother. It's as if one monolith is feeding the other, not destroying it. A few scouts decide to come closer in order to better examine the phenomenon. Perception test succeeded! Soldiers of one Valancius notice a fragment of metallic ribcage melted right into the material of one of the walls like a bizarre bas-relief. Between the rows of ribs, a talisman of black stone shimmers with coloured light after each wave of energy. The figure to which the talisman belongs shows no sign of life. After a quick debate, the officers decide to take the artifact on board. Strength, toughness, and agility is reduced by 15. The wearer can use heroic acts at 125 momentum instead of 175, and desperate measures at 50 momentum higher. The wearer is also considered as having heretical adherent if they do not have it yet. Or if they do not yet have it. Okay, that's random. Could use heretical weapons. Northing. Seven plaster steel. I'll take that. It's quite a lot. Does the colony interface still work from here? Well, I'm pressing the button and nothing's happening, so I'm going to take that as a no. The greenish glow of the gigantic ring made from unknown materials flows through the windows of the captain's bridge. The Void ship's instruments measure a whole spectrum of various emissions. Sometimes the dull green is darkened by clouds of space dust or bent gravitational waves. The object most closely resembles a portal, albeit what's passing through cannot be clearly defined. Additional equipment at close to position allowed the team to understand part of what's happening. The portal seems to resemble a gate devices used by the Eldari and Dukari, only made of different material. The metallic shine of the ring alternates with the darkness of large blocks of stone, reminiscent of the material that makes up the most famous Cadian pylons. Analysis of the weight signatures indicates that the construct once used parts of the webway, the Eldari system of pathways. However, its current condition, the portal is not fit for transporting vessels. It is unstable and often begins unleashing dangerous cosmic objects. Instead, transports the gate spews forth dark light waves and deadly breaths of incandescent gas, the latter taken from a star's photosphere. Alright, nothing else to do here. And that third option just actually kicked me out. Blomp. Unknown ships. Okay, we get another fight on our hands, maybe. Under thin clouds, as if shredded by a careless blade, vast steppes carpeted by pale gold deadwood. The rogue trader's attentive eye distinguishes a region among the endless grasses that does not fit into the general landscape. Scouts from the shuttle see signs of intelligent life. Judging by the trampled soil and tent frames, someone made camp here. Distant silhouettes form a triangle of paths and obstacles. The outer walls are supplemented by a magnitude of spikes and blades and decorated with scraps of leather and withered, crucified prisoners. It does not take an expert in xenoculture to reason that the Dukari have been here. As they come over the tracks left by the Dukari structures, scouts find items of Imperium make, blood-soaked clothes, a Aquila patch, a data slate cracked in half, Gothic letters, and the symbol of the Inquisition are frozen on its bottom half. Sentence fragments make up a part of an exploration report. Servants of von Valancius find a rough illustration of the camp in the pocket of a filthy coat. On it are marked two locations. The first is shown with a sword and highlights the area where the items were found. The other is a skull and points to a patch of ground by the maze. Scouts carefully inspect every piece of land in the marked area and discover a camouflage pit studded with strong, thin needles. It is a niche sunk into the wall of the trap, glitters with volmetic flask with an ugly creature that looks like several brains stuck together. Rogue traders people recognize a grotesque figure as a Dukari Medusa, a parasite capable of registering the emotions and transferring them to its masters. This thing was left here as an equivalent of a picked recorder, collecting the suffering of Dukari victims. Destroy the abomination! The flask explodes into shrapnel fragments under a salvo of scouts' rifles. Remaining liquid is collected in several test tubes to be examined in the ship's laboratory and put to good use. Deep prints belonging to landing legs and a ladder are visible in the grass behind the maze. The relative positions of the recesses correspond to the design of an Imperial shuttle. When the Von Valancius scouts approached, they found a wax seal bearing the symbol of the Inquisition and a monogram formed from the letters XC. The officer voices the proposition that the initials correspond to the name of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. A segment of the dry grass a few meters in front of the prints from the ladder has been cut as if scythed. Among the chopped stems lies a piece of Dukari trophy, a flap of dark skin stretched out by thin chains. Most of it is covered by a tattoo, a silhouette of a storm or tornado, and a black symbol composed of curved lines and sharp shapes. Okay, that's actually quite a nice sword. Burn the Xenos! Predatory structures do not burn easily. It takes a long time for them to heat up. When the flames finally gather strength, turquoise explosions flash into yellow-orange waves. Whatever was down there was dangerous. Alright, we're cleaning up. Just out of interest, you can't use Takari equipment, can you? Nope. Lord Captain, there was an incident on the flight deck. Planet we discovered located at the coordinates of interest to be the honorable. The planet we discovered is located at the coordinates of interest to the honorable Alfar, Angel of the Emperor. The moment he learned about this, he chose to abandon ship. The order shuttle to be provided him and directed it to the world before us. We don't know exactly where he wishes to go, but augurs have tracked the shuttle to its landing site. Lord Alpha simply showed up at the deck, drove the enforcers away, and demanded he grant clearance for takeoff. His servants became frightened and dared not disobey his orders. He forbade it, and the enforcers did not dare to defy an angel of the Emperor. I'm very sorry. I see. I apologize for bringing you this troubling news, Lord Captain. Scouting party led by the rogue trader himself makes powerful on the frozen world. The shuttle of which Alfar Thunderlong departed the ship has been designated the starting point for the search. Said shuttle is found at the landing site intact and undamaged. The scouts discover numerous structures. Sorry. Burial grounds and obelisks of the Xeno race that once ruled these star systems, all of which now encased in ice and solemn sepulchral stillness. Jesus, someone dragged that out of the Old English Dictionary. That is a word I have never seen before in my life. No signs of activity by any potentially hostile Xenos have been detected. The machine spirit is in fine form and ready to ascend from the world's surface. No clues have been found to Alfar Thunderlong's intended destination, but keen-eyed scouts cite several disturbed snowdrifts that may indicate the route taken by the Space Wolf. The group bravely ventures onward into the realm of blinding white and cracking frost. The sky is soon blanketed with snow clouds that block out the star's light. The wind, howling like a pack of hungry spirits, sweep away all tracks and whips up a furious storm. The path is full of danger. A treacherous crevasse hidden under the snow's crust suddenly opens wide underneath the enforcer's feet. It is only the vigilance of the Lord Captain and his companions who hear the telltale crack in time that saves the soldiers from certain death. A few hours later, the expedition comes to a plateau. Rising up ahead is the dark hull of an Imperial trading vessel that once landed on the world's surface. The ship is identified as the Revelation Granted, a merchant cog commandeered by the baleful Howl and Footfall. No signs of struggle or other misfortune are found aboard, only some useful cargo in the hold. Contrary to expectations, no crew members are found, dead or alive. The ship has been abandoned, its fuel systems are non-functional, the promethium has frozen solid and ruptured the tanks and pipes. The escalating storm sweeps over the group as if trying to bury them in darkness, snow, and obliterating headwinds. Fresh tracks in the snow leading to the ship's airlocks indicate that he was here, and recently. However, he was not alone. The scouts find strange dips in the snowdrifts surrounding the ship. It seems that someone was watching the ship from a position buried in the snow around the same time that Alpha Thunderlong was searching it. Scouts search the area and return without finding anything of interest. Not all of them return. In fact, several seem to have lost their way and failed to make it back to the ship. Bone-weary soldiers welcome the chance to rest. Watchful sentries stand guard while their more fortunate comrades stuff themselves with now frozen rations of the ship's vanished crew. The temperature inexorably plummets, but the brave enforcers, following the Lord Captain's example, staunchly endure the trial and do not lose heart. One of the sentries delivers an anxious report to Lord Captain. He's seen a massive shadow in the darkness, and it was definitely not Ulfar Thunderlung. Go on the offensive. A squad of the best fighters led by the Lord Captain ventures outside the ship and scours the area twice. Unfortunately, the only result of their efforts is several squad members disappearing without a trace. Barrels of frozen promethium are dragged outside. The frozen fuel reluctantly succumbs to the heat of the thermal cutters, and fires kindle around the ship. Even this is not enough to dispel the snowy darkness, but people are buoyed up by the additional light and warmth. A messenger rushes to the Lord Captain's report that one of the sentries is missing. Large tracks have been found near the sentry's post, as well as a few drops of blood. Despite the reinforcements, the sentries cannot conceal their fear. The unknown has robbed them of their courage. A terrible rumbling cuts through the roar of the storm. Clash and clamour of battle is followed by a furious, agonized scream. Send the party towards the sounds of battle. Tied together with ropes and bolstering each other with battle cries, the enforcers rush towards the battle in human chains. Unable to see anything ahead in the darkness and swirling snow, they blindly stride forward towards the source of the battle's monstrous thunder. Yeah, okay, that ain't happening. Send the soldiers forward, trusting in their tactical skill and lessons taught to them by the Lord Captain. Why can't I do this one? Take up positions and wait. Climb of battle quickly quiet dies down and the soldiers wearily creep forward, where a gruesome discovery is revealed to their eyes. Ulfar has been found lying in the blood-soaked snow. There are signs of a terrible battle all around. Space Wolf's body is covered in grievous wounds. The expedition healer doubts even an angel of the Emperor will last long with such injuries. With great care, the insensate body of Ulfar Thunderlung is borne to the shuttles and, wasting no time, brought back to the ship for urgent treatment. Despite the healer's prognosis, the Space Wolf's spirit clings on and he drags himself out of Morkai's jaws. Okay. What happened there, Ulfar? It was a bit stupid to rush off on your own. Where is that idiot? He's not on the deck. We find ourselves in a grim place. Edmund, it frightens me to think of the horrors that dwell here. I hope that we have the strength to fulfill our duty to the people of the Expanse. No human should have to journey to a place as dire as this. We are wandering in a graveyard of ancient terrors whose existence strains the mind to acknowledge. Touching their relics, reading their words, who can say how it will change us? Who can say if we even ought to return to the inhabited worlds after this, befouled as we will be by the poison that this Xenos darkness is feeding us? Do you realize that our meeting with Kalkazar may end in battle, do you not? Are you ready? Lord Inquisitor, I once thought of him as an impeccably pious and devout servant of the Emperor, but he used me as a tool, and when I started doubting myself, I started doubting him. I was a monster, and I have a feeling that he may be a monster just as terrible, and monsters must be destroyed. My hands no longer sow murder, but my fingers are forever stained with blood. I had too high of an opinion of myself, but shame pierced the shell of my hubris. I do not wish this feeling upon you, to realize that your ideals and deeds were shaped by another's manipulation. What will you do now? Subdue my wrathful spirit. My servants can see to the needs of my protectorate, while I must ensure that my hands hold a prayer beads rather than the reins of power. And that, whatever weapon I wield, I use to protect the people of the Expanse instead of smiting them. Why did you come with me? I seek forgiveness. I did far too many things that cannot be expiated or corrected. I hope, blast TheEdmon, I hope out there in the darkness I shall get a chance to die with dignity and thus absolve myself of even some small portion of my wrongdoing. Thank you for your candor. Do you think I have made a a worthy rogue trader? I do not wish to speak ill of Theodora, but you treat people with far more grace and nobility than she ever did. Guided by your hand, your protectorate flourishes, and your people extol you. And if it is so, then what does my opinion matter? I was impressed by your decision to grant rights to the people of your capital world. Most rulers are afraid of their subjects, but you are not one of them. Many in your position would have stopped at watching over their own colonies, especially in an hour as bleak and difficult as ours, and thus I have found the mercy that you showed to the refugees from Winterscale's realm all that more admirable. By allowing them on Janus, you saved millions of lives that Kalagos had forsaken. In the time of trials, the Emperor sent a true trader to the Coronis Expanse. Just as your servants from Foulstone selflessly lit void beacons to save lost souls from death, so have you. Through your tireless toils, you have become a beacon of hope to us all. Alright, that's pretty cool. So is Ulfar, like, dead now? Not dead. He didn't say that he died. He is no longer a selectable party member. Sure, why not? Actually, before we engage on hostile ships, I'm going to say that that's it for now, as we are a little bit short on time, and who knows how much of a fight this is going to be. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.